I am in tears. And at that point, I had no choice but to totally surrender to God. And think about all I could have. There were so many times that I could have just thrown in the towel and said, you know what? This isn't going to happen. And there were all of the stuff for the retreat, right? There was notes and stuff we had on the retreat. My daughter wasn't giving me access to it, so I had to redo everything. When I think about all the preparation I had to do alone suddenly and unexpectedly a month before this first international retreat, I'm telling you right now, it was God Himself because I had spiritual stamina. I stood my ground. I did not budge. Even though I kept praying and saying, okay, God, if there's any way, it's kind of like Jesus on the cross, right? Father, if there's any way we can avoid this whole crucifixion thing from happening, that would be great. But your will be done. And that's what I kept. That was my prayer. If there's any way this retreat cannot happen, okay, but your will be done. And so I'm sitting on the plane and I look over at the seat. I had an aisle seat. My daughter's seat was a window seat. And I was like, okay, I guess I can. And then there was someone else that was supposed to sit in the middle. And so the other person is sitting in the middle. No one's on the window seat yet. And I was like, that's weird. And all of a sudden, this young woman comes barreling down the aisle and she's sweating. And you can tell she's been rushed and, just in a state of stress. And she's like, excuse me, that's my seat. And she pointed to what would have been my daughter's seat. And I said, you're my daughter. And she looked at me like, are you crazy, lady? And I said, no, what I mean is that I told her the story about how I was doing this women's retreat and I was really scared to travel internationally for the first time. And my daughter was supposed to be with me, but she decided not to go. And I just kind of poured my heart out to this poor young woman. And she looks at me and she says, I'm from the Dominican Republic. I've lived here for the last 7 years and I'm going home and I will take you through customs.